What's up, guys? Mitch from RespectMyRegion.com here with some hot news coming out of the legal cannabis industry. Online menu, point of sale, and cannabis tech startup Dutchie just raised over $300 million for their Series D round, valuing the company at $3.75 billion. That is right, 3.75 Bs. That is a valuation not based on profit or income, but a valuation based on this current raise, which is incredible considering they raised $200 million, I believe, last year, which valued the company at $1.7 billion. So within a year, they have doubled the valuation, and we're talking doubling multiples of billions. That is a major, major move and a huge thing for a US-based cannabis company. Historically, over the last half a decade, the majority of the large-scale funds and companies are coming out of Canada, where cannabis is federally legal. So their stock market, the Canadian stock market, is much more welcoming to cannabis funds and stocks, where I'm sure for those investors out there or day traders, people even on Robinhood, you look at Canopy Growth, Curaleaf, a lot of these large companies, a lot of them are listed through the Canadian stock market. Dutchie is privately held, so it is not a company that you can invest in on the stock market, but it is valued at $3.75 billion now, which is incredible. That is a huge, huge, huge valuation for this sector, and again, for a US-based company coming out of Bend, Oregon, of all places. But Bend has been growing pretty heavily over the last decade as well. So Dutchie, the core business that I'm aware of and that most people are aware of is their menu system. Their menu powers a lot of retail and deliveries online, where consumers can go and look at products and place online orders or just be aware of what's in store. That menu also integrates to a point of sale, so whether the store has Dutchie, using Dutchie as a point of sale or using another platform, it integrates back and forth. They also offer payment solutions, and then they have a few other things in there. So it's really helping solve the issues. As cannabis first came out, legal in only so many states, big companies that historically have menu-based services or online ordering platforms, they obviously didn't want to get into cannabis because the stigma, the taboo. They're waiting on the sidelines, but companies like Dutchie, where the founders, Ross and Zach Lipson, have experience in tech, they clearly were able to identify a much needed solution and carve out a very aggressive position in this space. Dutchie is a menu for a lot of clients that I personally work with. They use their menu. I think it's a great menu platform. There's quite a few out there, but I've been a big fan of their platform, big fan of their vision. My guy John Bond over there, director of partnerships, I've interviewed him a couple times for articles and got to pick his brain just about what they're seeing, what are their internal talks as a company, what they're looking forward to the future, and it's just been very much in line with what I feel like myself and my partner Joey and our team sees. And I'm not saying we're the smartest or the end-all be-all or whatever, but I feel like we see a lot and have a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and many people aren't in line with that. And when people are in line with that or say things that you're like, dang, I didn't even think of that, but I see that being the future of this industry, those guys all the conversations always seem to be great. And I definitely judge people based on the conversations I have. So I think they're a great company. If you look at their list of investors, Snoop Dogg's Casa Verde Capital was one of the early investors. Those guys cannot miss. They keep striking gold, I was about to say striking out, and hitting home runs. They've invested in major companies in the cannabis space, and they just seem to have a lot of success. And every company that I feel like they're heavily invested in early is usually a good bet. Those guys know what they're doing. Away from just the cannabis funds is Kevin Durant's 35 Ventures. They were an early-ish investor in Dutchie as well, and again, they don't invest in a ton of cannabis. They have invested in a couple things in the cannabis vertical, but those guys are another group that just seem to can't miss. They have just been early investors or investors in a lot of home run investments. It's really amazing to watch somebody or a company and organization really hit it out the park that many times. That's rare. So if you see those two funds, a non-cannabis fund and one of the biggest, not biggest, but one of the bigger cannabis funds that I think has a great track record, those two ones investing in the same thing, that should send great signals. The Series D round was led by D1 Capital Partners, and I believe it involved Tiger Global, Dragoneer, DFJ Growth, and then a bunch of other companies. There's a bunch of capital equity. I'm not as familiar with that side of things, so forgive me if I didn't shout out your company name, but please tap in with us. We'd love to learn about what you guys do, and also pick your brain on this investment, state of the industry, anything. But yes, this is major news, multi-billion-dollar valuation in the US-based cannabis market. Dutchie, what are you guys seeing? What do you think of the market? What do you think of Dutchie's projected growth? Do you see other competitors out there that are going to reach equal valuations? And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.